Coming to you from the back room of your parents' favorite porn store, it is Cursory Overload.
You're listening to Cursory Overload.
And we are in this motherfucker.
What up, everybody?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Cursory Motherfucking Overload.
That's right, bitches. We're back.
Yeah. So,
sounding better than ever, too.
Oh, well, I think we're getting the hang of it. This is our second attempt at using the new Zoom Live Track L8.
I mean, we've only been doing it for 2 years.
Well, no, but before I kind of say we were cheating because we were just going straight from the laptop to the Spreaker software. Spreaker has this studio there that you can just,
right.
It's like point and click. Now, it reminds me of the old days in the recording studio, you know, playing with knobs and levers and.
Well, you like playing with knobs and levers.
Only when they're not, as long as it's my own. Is what, you're trying to get back at me for the Swingers Club comment last time? All right. So how you been?
I don't know. I've been okay. I've been working out.
Ooh.
Not as much as I probably should, but more than I was. Does that make sense?
Hey, I guess every little bit helps. And like I said, at this point in time, I'm interested in working out more for, you know, being limber, like you said. You know, I don't want to get hurt getting out of bed.
You need to go do what I've been doing.
No, that sucks. Yeah,
that's the only thing I've been doing, and I do it once every other day, or try to, and I feel amazing. Like, I feel so much better than I have been.
Nice.
I tried a new one today, a new kind of a workout, but in the same environment. Completely different style of workout, but fucking kicked the shit out of me. I felt like I went fucking 10 rounds with
Mike Tyson. When he was in his prime. Hell, yeah. I probably right now he could still whip a motherfucker, so I ain't gonna say shit.
Yeah, I ain't messing with him. He fucking put a hole in my head.
A co-worker at one of my places of employment obviously heard the podcast, and they were like, "Why don't you try it?" I'm like, well, the closest one to me is in Scottsdale, and I'm not going to Scottsdale.
Right. We used to give it a whirl. Still,
I don't know.
Used to give it a whirl. I like it. I thought it was really cool. Harder than I thought, but, you know, in a weird way, it was kind of nice.
It hurt, but I liked it.
I wouldn't say I liked it. I would say that it felt like it's something that I need. You know what I mean? Like, I need to limber up. I need to... You know, once you pass a certain age, your body, if you're not using some of these muscles and these joints regularly,
it's use them or lose them.
They like to tighten up and not move anymore. And then, you know, at first you don't really notice it, but then when you go, you know, several years and you have to kick your leg up onto something to tie your shoes because you haven't been stretched, you know what I mean? You're not stretching and limber like you used to be.
That's been standard procedure.
You start noticing it.
That's been standard procedure for the last 10, 15 years.
Right.
I need to.
And with me as well.
Yeah, you know. Oh, man.
So,
you know what? We just jumped into this. If you're listening, thank you once again for tuning in. We know you have options, and we love you for it because you could be anywhere else.
And you chose us, and more and more and more. That means more and more every episode. But yeah.
All right, man. You got some stuff you want to jump in?
I got to ask you. I got to ask you a question.
All right.
If you guys haven't seen, there's a video floating around where it was Michael J. Fox and Back to the Future when he was at his parents' high school, the very first one, and they took away Michael J. Fox's face and put Tom Holland's face on there, and took away Doc Brown's face and put Robert Downey Jr. in there. You kind of superimposed it.
Okay.
It's fucking scary. Like how good it looks. Like they could legitimately make another Back to the Future with these two characters.
As much as I mean, it's one of those things where like part of me is like, nah, leave it the fuck alone. Those three were good. Leave it alone. But I could see that. I could see Robert Downey Jr. playing, especially the way he's playing Dr. Doolittle, how goofy he is. I haven't seen it, by the way. I just saw the trailer. But I could see him playing Doc Brown. And right now that Tom Holland is young enough to play Marty, that could be a good idea. Probably bring, like I said, this time around, either they go back to the 80s or the 90s.
Right. It'd be perfect. I think the two of them, I think we as a society, if you will, know both of those people well enough, and we admire them and like them enough to where I think that they could, not only could they pull it off, but I think they could give reverence to the people that came before them. Well, with a good storyline, I mean, it could be like Marty's grandkid or something. Right. It could be, Marty's grandkid and Doc Brown. He had him and Claire had a child or so. I mean, there's lots of ways. He had two of them, right? He had Jules and Vern. Because named after his famous writer, Jules Verne. Yep. They could do it. I think with those two characters, it might be done very well. Jules Brown. I know Doc Brown said that he doesn't want any more, and he doesn't want to do anymore. Well, I mean, come on. But he's not saying that it can't be done. Okay, that's not bad. I mean, but could you imagine? Robert Downey Jr. not playing Doc Brown, but not necessarily Emmett Brown. Imagine Jules or Vern Brown. Right. And this doesn't necessarily have to be Marty. It could be, I don't know, Marty Jr.'s kid for all we know. Yeah, right. Actually, it would be. There's a lot of different ways in which they could do it. You know what? It's giving me a chubby right now. That could be done. I mean, probably. I like it. Yeah. So who's the Zemeckis or what's the last name of the producer for Back to the Future? Was it Robert Zemeckis? Robert Zemeckis, yeah. If you're listening, wishful thinking. Let's do it. Do it. Please. Do it. Do it now. Do it. Do it now. Do it. I don't care what you're doing. Do it now. Do it, man. All right. So, okay, that would be I would watch it. I mean, as sick as I am, because a lot of the times when they reboot movies, not every reboot is, good. Well, I think sometimes they try too hard to redo the original, and with a lot of them, that's the problem. Don't try to redo the original. Try to continue the story. Either continue the story. Well, tell me a different story. I guess. Following the foundation. Like in the same. Yeah. Keep the foundation of the house, but build a whole new one. Build a new room in the house. Show me a room that I haven't seen. Bingo. Yes. That would no. You know what? That would definitely be pretty good. Hey, let's see. Talking about coworkers. By the way, big shout out to both of you who's listening. They were they showed me something that I was the other day years old when I found out that a fucking handbag can cost $379,000. What the fuck? Exactly. Up until a few days ago, I had no idea that there was a place like Birkin, some handbags that they make, and this albino alligator handbag or purse, the price on that motherfucker is $379,000. I'm like, yeah. What the that's a house. That's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful home. Actually, that's paying off my house, probably buying another one just like it. Right. I'm like, no, what the fuck, man? No. They were like, oh, you should talk about that. I'm like, well, yeah, if we ever do, I'm going to see if I can get you guys on the line. Unfortunately, right now, I haven't mastered the skills on this
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get them on there. That would be cool.
Yeah, definitely. One of them even showed interest in starting her own podcast, which I don't know how serious she is. Yeah. So you know me. Anybody asks me, I tell them where to go. Hey, we started on. I tell everybody, you want to start one, jump in. You know what? We're not jealous. I mean, yeah, sure, you might
jump in. Don't put a pinky toe in. Just fucking.
I tell them, you could, right out of your phone.
The easiest way to do it is download Spreaker, hit the record button, and start talking. It doesn't matter what the fuck you say. Just start talking.
It's funny. You think
Christ Almighty. Listen to some of ours. Some of ours were horrible.
Oh God. Sometimes I'm like, well, they're there for a reason to remind me. And sometimes
of where. Yep.
And sometimes I listen to some of the older ones, and I'm like, hey, wait a minute. We were doing better back then. What the fuck happened here? Why did we go back? But it happens sometimes because, we get out of the swing of things, especially during your move out to the East Coast. That took us out, man, for a while there. I was like, what the fuck are we doing?
Talking about that, I'm going to put it out there. If you guys have followed us, well, you just heard that I made this move across the country. And when I got here, things were not, how do I word it? They weren't as idyllic,
as you expected
what
them
you
to
picture
be?
in your mind. Yeah, what you would think is going to happen, what actually happens was not the same thing. It was really bad.
It's usually life, yeah.
There was a 6-month, 7-month period that I was not my normal joyful self. Depression had me pretty bad, and then I was trying to do the show as best I could. But man, if y'all stuck with me through those times, I appreciate it. Mad love, because sometimes I wonder if doing the show was the only thing that got me through those hard times. But here we are, the other fucking side of that tunnel.
Hey, go figure. So, like I said, sometimes I think back, especially when we hit our 2-year anniversary, I was thinking that I was going through a very dark time when you came around talking all this shit about podcast and this and that. And, I was dealing with my father's death at the time. So I was in a pretty dark place. So it's funny how, believe it or not, just getting behind a microphone and talking shit can be therapeutic.
Yep. And you don't even realize it until you start doing it. And then when you don't do it for a while, you miss it. You're like, damn.
Yeah. It's crazy because like I said, I like to go into the Facebook forums for podcasters and shit like that. And they're always asking, what motivated you? And I was thinking, well, it wasn't that I was motivated. It was more of a way to deal with something back in the day that,
Right.
And nowadays, I wish I would have listened to you back in fucking 2009, 2010 when you used to talk about podcast shit, and we were all like, "What? Huh?
What? Huh?"
I mean,
I've been wanting to do this for a while, and I get asked a lot when people hear our show. They're like, "What are you trying? What's the goal with this show?" And I think I've narrowed it down to where I want you to be able to hear what the two of us talk like. Imagine if we were just sitting on the curb, like we often did. We would just cop a squat and drink some coffee on, a park bench or a curb on the side of the road or something. Yeah. And we'd just talk some mad shit. You know what I mean? Just talk about random shit, whatever popped up. Usually had some work in there, and we don't have to worry about that now.
Yeah.
But, it was our time to just
shoot the shit.
Fucking just talk, shoot the shit, hang out, you know what I mean? And that's what we want this to be. We want you guys to come on in and welcome to, sit down, grab a fucking drink, and let's talk.
I guess one of the best ways to put it is like we're kind of like at the Seinfelds of podcasting. I mean, that show supposedly was about nothing. And I mean, not necessarily that we're about nothing, but I mean, we talk about all kinds of random shit. We're not politically geared. We're not here on a mission to get you to do anything other than listen to our shit. We just want you to listen to us, have a good time, realize that, I mean, it's you nailed it. I mean, obviously we're 3,000 miles apart, but it's like we're sitting in the curb just talking, hey, how was your day, man? What you up to?
Right.
Drinking a cup of coffee, a beer, or whatever it is.
Yep. It was always coffee with us when we lived, when we